Right, straight into it. Podcast 121 with myself, Stephen.
Myself, Reg.
Don't sound so nervous.
What's going on, homies? You're listening to NPK Live, the Hydroponics Podcast. You're listening to NPK Live. To all the listeners around the world, you're listening to NPK Live.
Reg gave a talk at Tatton last week in front of like 20, 30 people and just nailed it. I've seen pictures of him. He was doing propagation talks, and it's something that I'm not the best person when it comes to public speaking. I really don't like it, but I do it if the need arises. I'm actually doing a talk at the National Vegetable Society on the 18th of November about nano, so that'd be interesting. Get up to see us if you're interested in vegetables, and you can make it up to Scotland on the 18th. There'll be some good talks by some good people. So yeah, podcast 121. Now 121 was we had a bit barbecue on Saturday. Reg was gonna make it, but literally got that busy at Tatton. You just had to stay there, didn't you?
Yeah, it ended up coming by 2 o'clock, didn't it?
Yeah. But we'll talk more about Tatton in a little bit. And because Reg is on the podcast today, the phone's going to go. No one's going to answer it. Reg, you're going to have to jump out and that's that phone, bro. And see if it's anyone important, or if it's just people trying to sell me PPI again. So, for the people I've joined, yes, we are podcast 121, and we had the barbecue on last Saturday. And to everybody that turned up to the barbecue, thank you very much. It was just a very low-key event. So food, drink, music, and just a chance to have a good chat and a little catch-up before the AutoPot. So thank you very much if you came, and next year we're going to do it bigger and better and actually do a proper big barbecue where we're going to invite everybody and do it big time, go big style on it like we normally do. And at the barbecue as well, we were meant to do podcast 121, which is where the manufacturers and the wholesalers got their chance to talk, but there was a few people missing, and the vibe at the barbecue was pretty chilled. Everyone was relaxed, and I wasn't feeling the podcast.
No.
So I don't think other people, like everyone said, yeah, we'll do the podcast, but to give you, the people that are listening and the people that are watching, the best show, people have really got to be into it. So I decided that we would give last week a miss, and we'll do, what we're going to do instead is we're going to do it at the AutoPot Festival. And I'm going to go around to the wholesalers and manufacturers. We might sit down for one big podcast, or I might go around to them individually when they're on the stands, and you can talk about some of the products that they've got coming out, talk about the festival and how they feel about how it's going, and also talk about the industry, the good, bad and the ugly. And we'll probably split that into some podcasts over the next few weeks. But I'm sorry to say, this is going to be the last podcast that we do. It's a sad time, isn't it?
We need a break though, don't we?
Reg spoiled it. It's only a break. It's not the end. No, we're just taking August off because I'll be spending some time with the family in early August, and then we've got the Boardmasters Festival. The Boardmaster Festival is the 9th to the 13th of August. That's down in Cornwall. Sponsored by CANNA, and you get to see. Listen, we went there about 2 years ago. Phenomenal festival. The people there were just brilliant. There was no trouble. Everyone got along brilliantly. And I really highly recommend, if you can get tickets, which it might be a little bit tough at this late stage, but if you can get tickets and you fancy a trip down to Cornwall, do go. It's a really good event, and you get to see CANNA sponsoring some of the skate ramps. Obviously, it's Boardmasters. It's a big skateboarding and rollerblading and all the mad stuff for people with knee pads and elbow pads.
Big festival, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's good. Get yourself down there if you can get yourself some tickets. So yeah, so we're going to be taking basically, this is the last podcast for like the summer, in inverted commas, when the summer ever decides to turn up. So this one's going to go out on the 30th of July.
Yeah.
And then we're not going to have any more podcasts until the 3rd of September. So, unfortunately, we're not going to be. You're not. What are you going to do on a Sunday? Like, I'm going to get hate mail. I mean, I missed last week. We didn't have anything in the bank to do last week, so I apologise for anyone that we wanted to tune in. I always tend to get a little bit of hate mail when I disrupt people's Sunday plans, so I do apologise. But I did it for you guys, to give you the best show, because I wasn't feeling the mood. Do you know what I mean? Everyone was chilled, everyone was relaxed, and then you've got to get yourself a little bit up and ready. And
by the time the food was cooked and everyone
exactly, we started the barbecue a little bit late. Half the team was at Tatton Flower Show. That was just more successful than we thought it would have been, so we had to keep team members there. But all in all, it was a good weekend. And also, the reason that you might be thinking, well, the AutoPot Festival is only the third week in August. Why aren't you doing anything in between? Well, we've started the NPK show. We're doing the lab's like 90% finished now with all of our partners, which is AutoPot, Blue Lab, Dutch Pro, and Buddha's Tree, and HID as well. So they're the 5 partners of the show, and they've supported us, and I've managed to finally get all the artwork done, so that's up on the lab. I'll be taking some pictures soon. The plants are doing nicely. We had some issues at the early stages, but they're all starting to come right through now. I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. And so, yeah, the NPK show, which is our YouTube channel, we have, at the moment, we've got about 95 subscribers without doing any work, really. So what I would love for the people that are listening, if you want to see the NPK show, which is every Friday at 6 o'clock from September 1st, then subscribe so you don't miss an episode, because we've invested like a lot of time and energy, and we really just want to get our passion across via video as well as doing the podcast. But don't worry, the podcast still goes on. We're not going to abandon all of you subscribers that are listening to us each week. So it's just another way for us to learn about hydroponics and see visually. So people that learn visually have got the right media, because obviously people that listen enjoy listening, but it's not the right thing for everybody. So we're going to hit all aspects and go onto YouTube as well. So I'm going to have a sip of my coffee. And Reg, we started the Tatton. Let's talk about the Tatton journey, shall we?
Where do we start?
Where do we start? First of all, let me try and get this telly up, because it's good to have the telly on rather than off. I don't know why it's gone off. Just a blank screen. Weird. We'll put BBC One Northwest has just come on, so we'll take that off. Go on to Chromecast, and it's not doing anything. Ah well, not to worry. There's always a technical hitch of some sort, isn't there? We'll just watch on the iPad. So Tatton, the Tatton Flower Show by the RHS, the Royal Horticultural Society. We were there with Thomas Michael Smith, and we've talked about Michael when we've been talking about the Chelsea Flower Show. We won Silver Gilt, and what did he win this year?
Silver Gilt again.
Silver Gilt again. Now he's a little bit pissed off because his display just looks perfection, and the green in every leaf is like unbelievable. And they gave him the Silver Gilt, and the reason that they gave him the Silver Gilt was because he said it didn't have enough fruit and not enough colour. And he's like, I grow fruit trees. How on earth do you want me to get the amount of fruit on it that you require for this time of year? He went, the fruits literally are just coming through now, so a couple more weeks and the fruits will be perfect. So what are we going to do? We're going to take the outdoors and bring it indoors. So next year, Chelsea, we're winning gold. I'm putting it on record now. Gold at Chelsea next year.
Therefore.
And gold at Tatton next year as well. It's a dead cert, because we're going to apply super hydroponics technology to an outdoor grower's mentality. And we're going to show Chelsea what it's all about. We're going to show them how we get down in the hydroponics industry. You know? You want fruit in March? We'll give you fucking fruit in March.
We have fruit all year.
Fucking fruit cakes. So Tatton, it was the Reg show, to be honest. Reg set up on Wednesday, and then it just went a bit nuts from there, didn't it?
Yeah.
Tell us, like, when did we go down? Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday morning, really.
Yeah.
Early.
What time was it?
About 7:30.
7:30, so we were up from like 5:30. Loaded up the van with everything. I've got to say as well, big shout out to Nutriculture. Thank you very much, because without Nutriculture, we wouldn't have had the amount of products that the Tatton customer would have required. They sent out all the Vita pods, all of the systems that they produce. Some of them don't sell. Some of those systems don't sell well in Liverpool, but they're still good systems. So they sent us down. And big shout out to Nutriculture. We're really thankful. The show wouldn't have been as good as it was for us without your help, so much appreciated.
Yeah, definitely.
So the journey to Tatton, we went up in the van. We got there for 7:30, and we literally just had a patch of grass, and that was it, really, wasn't it? They spelt. Listen to this. Tell them about the name, Reg. What they did with our name.
NPK.
Michael Papa Kilo. That's how they spelt our name. Now this is the RHS show. This is like the royal, meaning like king and queen, horticultural society show, and they didn't realise that they spelt NPK, November Papa Kilo. Didn't realise that they spelt it wrong. This is nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. Guys, this is like the three of the most important elements that you can use in your plant feeding regime. And the RHS one spelt it M for Michael PK. I don't know what you're up to there. Sabotage, that's what it was.
Definitely.
How long did we take to set up? Reg is like an animal when it comes to setups.
Took me about 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours, and there was about 150 products on display. We had AutoPots, we had the Plant Magic, new Plant Magic feed for veg, chilies, strawberries, tomatoes. You had all of that on there. You had the full line of propagation kit.
Extreme propagators.
Extremes. They were into them, weren't they?
Yeah, they liked them.
And then Wednesday, I managed to stay with you Wednesday. And we had a good day. The Wednesday was for the members, the RHS members, and they came at us with some heavy questions, didn't they?
Yeah, shocking
me and
questions.
Reg were like, wow, like these guys know what they're talking about, and thankfully we also know what we're talking about, and we have managed to answer the questions, so I was very proud of that. Giving myself and Reg a pat on the back for that. But Thursday, did you have Jay? Jay managed to come down.
Jay, yes.
Yeah, Jay managed to come down and help you hold the fort, and then but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it was all you, bro.
Yeah, it was dealing with the questions. It was
hard work.
They couldn't believe that none of them had seen Rockwell, and all thought it was fudge.
They all thought the Rockwell was fudge. They kept on saying, "Why have you got fudge on your stand? How much is it for the fudge?" And Reg is like looking around, like, "Who brought fudge? Makey, you bring fudge." Stay. Did you bring fudge? Like, nah. What are you on about? Like, people asking you, saying, "Where's our fudge?" People thinking Rockwell's with fudge. For fuck's sake, you could tell you're an RHS show.
Yeah, definitely.
What else? What didn't they call it? Something else? What else was it? I'm sure someone else called it some sort of sweet. Can't remember what they called it, but the nuts, they're literally nuts.
They were all SANlight. I had one guy that tried to eat a micro, tried to drink a micro.
Tell them about the micro tea story, bro. It's just, this is one of them. What happened? You're talking to this guy.
So this guy's come up to the store and was asking about Rockwell. So I told him the story about Rockwell, and he's had this cup, and I was like, "What?" He's like, "I'm drinking this hot water and lemon." So I was like, "Oh yeah, I've got this microbe tea that you can give to your plants, really good. Yeah, there's a test, let's try it." So he's ripped the packet open in front of me and poured it into the hot water.
And started drinking it. He started drinking the Eco 5 Biosis.
I had to stop him halfway through.
Halfway through? What happened for the first half?
He had a good mouthful of it. And I had to tell him in the end, it's not for you, it's for your plants.
Oh, but he feels like a bit of a fucking plant. That's funny, that. When was that, on the Thursday or the Friday?
That was the Friday. I think they were all just after some free food and drinks, to be honest.
Fudge and tea.
Yeah.
If you ever go to an RHS show and you just do a stand, make sure you take plenty of fudge and plenty of tea, because that
You'll do well.
Yeah, that seems like that's what everybody wanted. Well, wow, putting the microbial tea into his cup of hot tea with lemon and started drinking it. And I thought it was just our customers that did silly things.
No.
Apparently it's like all people who grow plants seem to do strange things.
Yeah, strange things. I've heard it all from there, like, to be honest.
Anything else that they were just, not to be cruel or anything, but there was like, some people would walk past, and obviously we're a hydroponics display and we've got tents set up, and you'd hear them whispering, "Hey, Marjorie, that's what we seen on the BBC News the other day, and I think that's for growing cannabis. They're growing cannabis in the RHS. It's a fucking disgrace, cannabis growers." And then so me and Reg would call them over, and you say, "Did you say that the kit was used for growing cannabis?" And they'd say, "Well, it is, isn't it? I've seen these tents and these lights on the news." And I said, "Well, yeah, it does get used for growing cannabis. The reason being is because hydroponics is the best method of growing plants, hands down, full stop. You can do organics, you can do mineral based, you've got greater control of your plants. I said, and actually, see that person behind you, Thomas Michael Smith, who's just won silver gilt to Chelsea, silver gilt to Tatton. Do you like his stand? And you're like, yes, he's got a lovely stand, very traditional. I said, what's funny? He uses hydroponics to grow pretty much everything he's done. And if he doesn't grow hydroponically, he uses hydroponic technology to get him to where he needs to be. And I'm like, oh. I said, and also, see that person over there who grew a giant onion? I'm like, yes. And she said, in the RHS accent that some of them come with, oh yes, the giant onion over there. And I said, well, that was actually grown hydroponically as well. And the giant leek, oh yes, that was grown hydroponically.
I used to say to them about the tomatoes, if you eat tomatoes from Tesco's or wherever, they're all grown hydroponically anyway, so I don't know why they've got this bad stigma against it.
It's mad, isn't it? It's just news. People listen to the news and they're swayed by news. So you can always tell these type of people who are swayed by news stories. And half the reason that we went to Tatton is to try and
sway them against
people.
it.
Say it's not just for this. You know, you can. People that have got disabilities, hydroponics are a much better system than growing in pots with soil, because you can automate your systems. So it was getting that education across to them as well. And the other side of it was the people, and I probably contribute to this a little bit myself. They probably think it's too scientific and it's too much hard work. And obviously, you know, if you listen to the show, that I love the science, and we're very heavily science-based when we talk on the podcast, but it doesn't have to be that way. If you're not into science and you just want the glory of growing a plant from a small seed, then
it's a lot easier though, isn't it? You've got a lot more time to like with the AutoPot system, you've got a lot more time to go out and spend with your mates or spend with whoever. You don't have to worry about getting home and watering if they're underwatered. You've got a better quality of life yourself as a grower.
Were a lot of people interested in the AutoPot system?
Yeah, well, I got a lot of old people interested into it because they haven't got the capabilities of walking around with a watering can or going carrying big amounts of weight. So that was a really good system for them, because they can fill it up once a week whenever the plants are drinking it. So
and that's it, isn't it?
And that's it, they're done. And that was
a few people are interested because of the time that they're going on holiday and they've got no one to water the plants. The AutoPot does it for them.
Yeah, of course. Instead of buying a bottle of vodka or whatever you buy for your neighbour the next day, you don't have to do that, do you? You self-water the system.
AutoPot. Yeah, man.
And it's gravity fed, so no electricity involved, is there?
So you're interested in that sort of stuff?
Yeah, they were really interested in that.
When I was there on the Wednesday as well, they seemed really interested in the extreme propagator.
Yeah.
Will you get much interest on that?
Yeah, that was mainly like the fellas that walked past with again, this cannabis stigma, and they'd all say to the wives, they grow pot in them. So I'd just say, nah, by the time I'd have a little talk with them about hydroponics, they were sort of shocked in it and was like, it is a lot easier than what I thought. I thought it was very technical, and I was like, no, it's actually quite easy than what you think. And a lot of them walked away interested in it. From when they walked towards it, they sort of had a stigma towards it. Yeah. And when they walked away, you could see they were like, they're all right then. That's a good system. That we'll look at that when we get home. And the wife's half having a go at them because she's like, you were slating them 5 minutes ago, now you're up their ass.
Reg has got that way with people. They walk over with all sorts of preconceived ideas, and then Reg puts his charm on them and they walk away big fans of hydroponics.
Yeah,
so it was a good successful show at Tatton, because we achieved our goal of anybody that came over with a bit of a stigma about it being too difficult, too expensive, that it's only for people who grow cannabis. We changed the minds, hopefully, the people that came.
Yeah, of course.
And that's a good thing, because the more people grow hydroponically, I feel it's just more interesting, because you grow quicker plants, the plants grow quicker.
It's all sterile.
Yeah.
It's a better environment.
And so, if you want to grow clean, then you can grow clean. You don't have to introduce soil, which from outside can potentially have pathogens and pests from it. Bring them indoors, so you can grow a pretty clean plant in them. And I'm happy with Tatton, and I've got to say, take me hat off to Reg, because he did a phenomenal job. And it was as well for the talks as well. What did you talk about because essentially we were told a week before that usually doing a talk on hydroponics. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll do that on the Wednesday. I can talk about hydroponics and try and reinforce what we're saying on our stand. So I get ready to do the talk. But our first talk on Wednesday was at 5 o'clock, and obviously I had to come back to finish up and lock up our shops. So we missed the first talk on Wednesday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we realised the programmed us in for talks 2 o'clock and 12 o'clock and 4 o'clock. I was like, I can't make them. I didn't realise we had to do more talks. So Reg got well and truly thrown into the deep end. Didn't realise he had to do public talks in front of 20, 30 RHS members. So he did very well. A lot of people actually messaged me and emailed me and said that the talks were really good, very interesting. And take me hats off to you, bro. Did well with not much notice either. And so what was it though that you talked about? Propagation mostly?
Yeah, it was stayed away from the tents and the lights. I just sort of went into like stripping down an AutoPot, what it comes like when you get it out the box, setting it up, what media we should use in it, different methods, how you could add on more pots if you wanted to, so it's like better value for you.
Yeah. You showed me extreme propagator as well, yeah? And taking cuttings and how to put them in and all that sort of stuff.
Took cuttings, how to put them in, done the extreme propagator, and showed them how you can put C5 light strips on top of them.
Yeah, man. And you can actually see pictures. Reg has got the Instagram. Is it, what's your Instagram?
Reg_NPK.
So Reg, like, has just took my position away from me, even though I'm still big on the Instagram, obviously. But he started taking all these crazy artistic photos, and now I'm going to have to up my game on Instagram because his Instagram is starting to look a little bit better than mine. So I might just start stealing some of your photos, bro, and saying you copied off me. And then it was all going swimmingly, wasn't it?
Yeah.
At Tatton until Sunday. And I'm going to make this public because I'm very shocked at the RHS for dropping us in the shit here. They said to us weeks and weeks ago, break down. So you break down your stand, you can get it all away, is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then, so I went to Tatton on Sunday with my family. Reg was there with his family, and Reg was working as well on the Sunday. So we left about 4 o'clock. Our area got shut down at 4 o'clock, so Reg was like, I'm going to go and have a good mooch around for an hour. So I get back home for about 5. I've got like 3 missed calls off Reg. I'm like, wonder what's going on here. Calls me going, bro, you got to get back to the Tatton show. We've got to do breakdown. Like, nah, we're going to do it. Like, we get up at 6 on Monday, go and do the breakdown, back to shop, bish, bash, bosh, all job done. I was like, nah, don't worry about it. He's like, nah, the security's leaving now. Like, they've had enough. I'm like, so all nightmares, we were talking on the phone. Turns out the RHS weren't paying the security to work overnight on the Sunday night. So basically the security had a little word with Reg and was like, bro, if you don't pack down, there's all these different contractors here. You've got a lot of expensive equipment. If it's left here overnight,
it's on you.
Yeah, you're not insured and you might not have anything to come back to. I'm like, wow, this is the RHS at Tatton. Like, mental. So me, Reg, I went all the way back up to Tatton, got the van all the way back up, loaded it all up, pissing down rain, and it was just a mental Sunday, wasn't it, bro? Yeah. Mental Sunday, highly stressful as well. Yeah. But we've recovered. We're back on it now, and we're looking forward to Southport. So Southport unfortunately clashes with the AutoPot Festival. It's the 18th. The AutoPot Festival is the 18th, 19th and 20th of August. And the Southport Flower Show is also that weekend. So we're going to set up the stand, and we have got Thomas Michael Smith's going to run that stand for us. So don't have to worry about running that stand, Reg.
I know, yeah.
We're going to be chilling out at AutoPot. But that was the Tatton Flower Show. Very successful. Achieved exactly what we wanted to achieve. Big shout out to Nutriculture for all their help as well. It's always much appreciated, and we're looking forward to going back next year to winning gold, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely.
So it's happy days. Working in the lab as well. We've in between all these little projects, we've been working in the lab, and if you follow us on Instagram, you've got to see the lab. And I think we'll maybe today, as a little treat for Friday, we'll turn all the lights off and we'll show everyone the pictures for the partner shop and what we've done with the glass work. But we've been working in the lab, and it's been interesting, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've learned a lot.
Yeah, a lot. And that's, to be honest, the stuff that we've learned is probably a whole new podcast in itself. But We've learned a lot over the last 2 to 3 weeks about working in the lab, working with different lightings, propagating under LEDs and then putting them under high intense lights. Like, they just didn't like that. Like, high intense LEDs, going from propagator LEDs to high intense LEDs. They just didn't like it, did they?
No.
But going from LEDs to HPS, it didn't seem that bad.
No, they were all
It's
right.
mad, wasn't it? So we're going to do some more research on LED to LED transitions and find out what happened. Maybe we should have gone from a low-powered LED like the Secret Garden propagator tubes that we used. They're like 24 watts, I think. 26 watts. We use multiples of them. So maybe we go from propagation, which we did from seed, grow the plants to about a couple of inches tall, then move them under maybe just a really low power mother light.
Well, I had my 2 Secret Gardens on and put a GOD Budmaster cob, and as I've lowered the Budmaster, I've raised the Secret Gardens, and I have had.
You've had no problems.
No issues.
The Reg half touched lucky there because he used the GOD cob light from Budmaster, which is, off the top of my head, what's that, about 40, 60 watts?
Yeah.
It's about, let's say about 60 watts off the top of my head. So it's going from 26 watts to 60 watts, and now imagine if it's well established, if you put it under the Spectrum King or the Helio Spectre that we've been using, or a big powerful Budmaster, it's going to take it
easy
and not get the scorching. The other thing is, we've been growing tomatoes, and we've grown a lot of tomatoes, and some of them have done really well, and some of them haven't done so well. Some of them have stretched. Now put this alongside the transition from LED to low power LED to high power LED, scorched the leaf. I went in with an EC of 1.2, and if you're growing tomatoes, then you want to start, and you measure an EC, you need to start them off at 1.5. I had a good chat with Gareth Hopcroft from Eco Thrive, and he says he starts his tomatoes with an EC of 1.5. I was like, wow, that's high. Like, I start everything literally at 0.6. And that's in Liverpool water, where we've got really nice clean soft water, 0.2 out the tap EC, and then I put about 0.4 to 0.6 extra nutrients EC in there. And he's like, nah, you got to double it, they're hungry. I was like, I know they're hungry, didn't realise they were hungry at such an early stage, and that's why they've stretched. So tomatoes stretching when you give them too low an EC. So good education for me there, because normally we get small tomato plants, grown tomato plants from seeds and put them under, starting them at such a high seed. It's not something I've done before.
No, it was a new adventure, wasn't it?
Yeah. But fortunately, they're all starting to strap them together, put them on bamboos. We've also increased the humidity in there. We were using our lab space is about 2.4, 4.8. It's about 6 meters wide by 3 meters width, isn't it? Length, sorry. And we put some small 6-litre humidifiers in there, put 2 or 3 in there for the tent. It just didn't touch the sides, did it?
No, not close.
So we realised, obviously, the lower humidity has been an issue in that side of spaces over the extraction on the time of year. It's really warm. All these little multiples, and even for people that, like us, that are used to changing and manipulating our environment, if you get caught off guard, things can go wrong very quickly. Low humidity, high temperatures, and then you turn your extraction up, your humidity drops down. You've really got to stay on the ball. And because we're managing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 grow rooms within this room, and that's what's caught us off, and growing multiple different plant varieties as well. So key point is just stay on the ball with your environment, because literally these changes happened overnight. I think we went to Tatton on the Wednesday, and then obviously we haven't spent as much time in the lab as we'd wanted to, and by Monday things had started to go downhill.
Really bad.
Yeah, but we've brought them all back, adjusted the humidity, lowered very slightly the output, the extraction. We've taken out a light that was giving off a lot of heat, swapped it for a ceramic metal halide, 315, so it's lowered the heat. So we've adjusted our environment, we've played with our variables, and we've got nice conditions now, haven't we? It's looking really good in there, so I'm happy now. Finally, I'm happy.
We found out the chilies like the 315 though, don't we?
The chilies love the 315. I think that's their favourite light.
I think so.
It's fast. To be fair, it's fast becoming one of my favourite lights, and we personally use the 315 daylights from MaxiGrow. If you go to your shop, I think pretty much most shops have got 315s now. It's a great supplementary light if you don't want to just go whole hog and use ceramic metal hides for your whole grow.
Yeah.
But do some research. So, like, take it from us, these lights are just phenomenal. Much more, give it a much friendlier spectrum and a friendlier output, and more tuned to what the sun looks like as well, what the sun actually gives out. And the plants, just, you can tell, walk around the shop, come down the shop anytime and just have a look at the 315 grows that we've got, and they just
shot up fast.
Maybe not in terms, it's not going to be better for yield, like obviously the Gavitas and the Divas that we've got that are producing 1,000 watts and being tuned down to 600 watts. It's not going to beat their yields, but in terms of plant quality, the green of the leaves, the amount of flowering sites that we've got, ceramic metal lights all day, isn't it?
That's only with the chilies, we found that, like, the LEDs and HPSs, they don't really like them.
No, and we've got a multi-flow system downstairs in a 2B210 with 4 Budmasters over them, and we took them out of propagation, put them under the Budmasters. They just didn't like that either, did they?
They don't like being in water. They don't like bubblers. No. They don't like being sat in water. They like to be dried out.
Yeah, like to have that little bit of a dry period as well, don't they?
And then fill back up with water.
Exactly. So the multi-flow is doing them nicely. So we know it's not the system, it's literally the lights, because the same happened to most plants.
Yeah.
But now those plants, they've adapted the leaves. They've dropped any yellow leaf that they had, and the leaves are really coming back nicely. And the chilies in the multi-flow under the Budmasters, literally today I've looked at them and thought, yeah, you just started to pull your heads out the water there, haven't you?
Definitely.
And then we've got the AutoPot versus GoGrow test, which is moving along nicely. It's a little bit behind, and that's my fault, because the reason being is we got the Fatale chilies from Dean Finlay, and when we got these plants, they were absolutely phenomenal. Specimen of a plant, super green, no pest whatsoever, just really nice plants. I'll give you a little background of where they came from. Dean Finlay, very good chili grower. He grows in polytunnels, so he's got natural sunlight. He had them in soil, and he started to give them a little bit. He'd started giving them some feed as well, his own personal feed. And then so he's transported them from the lab all the way up to Liverpool for this test. And we've switched them out of soil because they're going into gravity-fed, bottom-fed systems. So we've switched them out of soil and put them into 60-40. There's one disruption to them.
Definitely.
Then we've taken them out of a polytunnel natural sunlight setting, and we've put them under 2 Gavitas, and that's another change that they didn't like, going from sunlight to HID light. They just weren't. That's another thing that they had to overcome.
Yeah.
Third thing is that they've been used to getting top fed, and now they're getting bottom fed. Fourth thing. And the fifth thing was, I thought, put them in and let's just get water going through them first, just so we can try and establish some taproot, some fine hairs. And that's a fifth thing as well. That's given them a little bit of a stress. Combine all those things together, and they just weren't happy with it.
No.
So now we've just, and plus on top of all that, sixth thing is we work next to a company that cuts all the grass for literally what feels like the whole of the bloody UK. They trim everyone's hedges. They go all over the northwest. And where did they bring all the cuttings and the grass? Yeah, right down to a skip next to our shop. So there's been aphids, and aphids have managed to get in because aphids love chilies.
Yeah.
We've been using back off. That worked brilliantly. And then just to make sure that they didn't come back, we literally just went round the shop shaking predators. They were from Mite Munchers that you've seen the podcast 2 weeks ago, 120 with Alex. We've just basically put them in there to make sure that we're not having any more problems. So the aphids are gone. We're on top of it. We've told all them to put the grass cuttings, not to bother coming with the grass cuttings anymore. We're on top of it. And now you can see nice, healthy green leaves coming through. So everything finally, after some adjustments, is starting to come up really nicely.
Yeah.
I'm happy with it as well. We talked about the break. No more podcast for August. We're going to be doing a big podcast at AutoPot, interviewing all the different people while they're in one place. For that, we're going to hit you with 122 on September 3rd. That's going to be basically the manufacturers and the wholesalers that are all together in one place, talking about the products, the good, the bad and the ugly of the industry. And Makey's going to have some editing to do, because that's going to be like a good 2-hour podcast with all different snippets. So look forward to that one, bro. Where else are we up to? I think we've covered everything else. And lastly, the Garden Culture magazine. It'll probably be in shops in the next 2 weeks. It is literally, I write for the magazine, and I'm happy with the article that I wrote, but my article compared to all these other articles is just just read the magazine. It's a phenomenal edition this month. The front cover is the best front cover I've ever seen.
Yeah, definitely.
Any
By
magazine.
far.
It's phenomenal. It's all about grow room control. And the people that have written the articles, I've seen them all. They're phenomenal. And it's a magazine that you're going to want to keep and read over and over and over again. Brilliant article on closed room growing. So make sure you read that. It's about 4 pages long. Get into it. Absorb it all. And if you're looking on closed room growing, read the article. And we'll be throwing in some extras on top of that in a podcast in September sometime.
Definitely.
So that's it. Follow Reg's Instagram on
Reg_NPK.
Follow us at NPK_hydroponics. Go and subscribe to us. If I ask anything, these are 2 things I'm going to ask for everyone that's listening to me and is listening right through to the end. I love getting feedback from you. I mean, it's what keeps us going. We don't have partners, we don't have sponsors on the show, we don't get paid for it. We do it because we love it. And you know what really keeps us going to provide and keep pushing this podcast is when people message us. Like, I get messages from America and Alaska. I got one today from it's like Finland, I think. Finland. He's a big fan of the show. Just all over. And when you send the emails or a message or anything, it just really keeps us motivated to keep on producing this podcast for you. So please, if you've got anything to say, even if it's negative, even if it's something that you think we could improve on, send them all through. Check us out on Instagram. That's where we have the most communication with our customers and our followers on Instagram. And then lastly, subscribe on YouTube. Go to our NPK Technology YouTube channel. Click subscribe. Check out the trailers that we've produced. Meg has produced some really, really good trailers.
Yeah.
A little bit like movie intros, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm very happy with them. Very, very happy. And that's it. That's it for the end of the summer. I think we'll be back September 3rd. And I just want to sign off by saying, if you subscribed and listened and you're a new listener, thank you very much for joining the podcast and giving us your time. And if you're a seasoned listener and you're one of the 46,000 people now that have subscribed, listen, love you from the bottom of your heart. Thank you very much for taking your time to listen. And we're just going to start September with the heaviest podcast. We're going to come at you with the best information. We're going to have some great guests. And it's time to take this podcast up a notch, isn't it?
Definitely.
So thank you very much for being part of this podcast journey. I love all of you that listen. I love all of you that watch live. And if you're going on holiday, just have a great, great time. And much love from NPK to all of you. Thank you very much. Makey, let's play a bit of a party tune. We're going to put it on now. I'll put me earphones on the mic so people watching live can hear it. And enjoy this party tune, 1 to 1. Are you getting it all? Oh, there we go. There you go. See you all later.
We should have a 1-to-1. I know that I said we've got so much things to talk about. We must get together to sort it out. If in your mind you have some doubts, come, then let me show you what I'm about. We need to have a 1-to-1. Oh girl, no denying. We should have a 1-to-1. And I want you to know that I would not mislead you like those